Hello, my name is Chris Opebo, and it's a privilege to welcome you to today's edition of Taking the Lead. Today's topic will be Addendum to Faith, Part 2. Addendum to Faith, Part 2, and the anchor text will be in the book of Second Peter, chapter 1, verse 5 to 10. And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. This is the second part of the topic. So, in this second part, the focus will now be on the last three addendum to faith, that is, godliness, brotherly kindness, and charity. For the first five addendum that was discussed in the previous topic. So I encourage you to head over to my YouTube channel, Chris Obebo, and search for Addendum to Faith Part 1. Those five were discussed, but like I mentioned, the focus today will be on the last three. So the first one for today will be godliness. And godliness is the quality of a life that reflects reference to God and alignment with his character, alignment in thought, alignment in attitude, alignment in speech, as well as alignment in conduct. You see, godliness is not necessarily an obvious display of piety, but an authenticity of life that makes one to think, to act, and to respond in ways that reflect the nature of God. So the question now is, what constitutes godliness? The first is a deep reverence for God, expressed by living in accordance to divine principles rather than personal convenience. The second thing that constitutes godliness is integrity, and this integrity is expressed as consistency between what is said and what is seen. The third thing that reflects godliness is actually compassion, reflecting the love of God towards all. Because when faith is genuine, godliness becomes visible through behavior and influence. One of the major veterans of faith that manifested godliness is the great evangelist Billy Graham. His ministry reached millions across culture and nations because his character matched with his message. And though faith gave him a message, it was godliness that gave him credibility. Faith without godliness will lead to corruption. It will lead to exploitation of others. It will lead to dishonesty in leadership. It will lead to abuse of authority. It will lead to hypocrisy in religious and social life. Godliness actually is faith wearing character. This generation does not only need people who believe in God, much more it needs people who behave like God. Because believing God is actually faith. Behaving like God is godliness. While faith can attract power, godliness attracts trust. And without trust, influence collapses. Power loses its essence. Faith changes your belief. Godliness changes your behavior. The future belongs to those whose faith is anchored on godly character. It was godliness that made Joseph to severally refuse the sexual advances coming from his master's wife. Like the Bible said, godliness with contentment remains a great gain. The other virtue is brotherly kindness. Now, while faith gives access to God, brotherly kindness determines how your faith affects people around you. Apostle Peter deliberately placed brotherly kindness among this addendum to faith to indicate that true spirituality must translate into how you treat others around. One of the visible evidence of a living faith, of a faith that lives, is brotherly kindness. And brotherly kindness comes from the Greek word Philadelphia, meaning affectionate love care, and goodwill shown to those who are connected to you, family, neighbors, associates, friends. So, brotherly kindness says, "You are my own, so I care for you." Brotherly kindness, if you observe that addendum, comes before charity because you need to learn to love those who are near you first before you love those who are far from you. Brotherly kindness is love within your circle, and without it, your expression of faith will become theoretical and disconnected from real life. Brotherly kindness is not just emotion, no, but action driven by love and responsibility. It is expressed majorly through empathy, through support and service. What is empathy? Feeling with people. Support is standing for people, while service is providing for the need of people. Joseph, like you know, was betrayed, sold, and forgotten by his brothers. Yet, when he rose to power, he exhibited brotherly kindness. He chose to forgive, to restore, and provide for them. And this singular act preserved his family, saved nations, and turned betrayal into legacy. Kindness is a currency that never loses value. Organizations that practice kindness outperform those governed by fear. It is written, "Be kind one to another." And this is because of the immediate and long term benefit of kindness. It was kindness that saved Abigail from losing her entire household to the anger of David and his men. It was kindness that made Abraham to entertain angels, albeit unknowingly. Where there is kindness, there is unity, there is growth, and there is fulfillment. But when it is absence, relationship becomes cold, families break down, and organizations become toxic. So, seeing how important kindness is, the question will now be, how is it cultivated? Number one way by which kindness can be cultivated is to practice empathy. Understand how people are before you judge them. Secondly, choose forgiveness by releasing bitterness and offenses, letting people go. The third way is to serve intentionally. Look for opportunities to help others. The fourth way by which you can cultivate kindness is to speak life, irrespective of the situation. Use words that encourage, use words that uplift people. Brotherly kindness builds instead of breaking down. It heals instead of creating hurt, and it unites instead of creating division. And the very last addendum is charity. Now, why faith is powerful, virtue refines it, knowledge directs it, temperance controls it, patience sustains it, godliness aligns it, brotherly kindness expresses it, charity perfects it. Apostle Peter deliberately placed charity as the final addendum to faith. But the question is, why so? Why put charity as the last one? The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 14, gives the answer. It says, "Above all, put on charity, which is the bond of perfection." So, charity is the bond that unites these seven virtues. Charity is the bond that unites these seven virtues. It is the highest expression of maturity. So, knowing that charity is the bond that unites these seven virtues and it is the highest expression of maturity, the question is, what is charity? Charity is the selfless, sacrificial love expressed through giving, through serving, and seeking the good of others without expecting anything in return. In any case, charity is not limited to money. Money is just one of the many ways. by which charity is expressed. It is expressed in many more ways beyond monetary terms. Charity can be expressed as material giving, that's number one, giving of money, giving of food, giving of clothes, providing shelter. Number two way by which charity can be expressed is emotional support, listening, encouraging, and comforting. Number three way by which charity can be expressed is time and service, helping others, helping to listening to others, mentoring young people, providing volunteering service. That's also a form of charity. Forgiveness is also charity. Letting go of offenses, even though you are the one who is hurt, but you choose to let go. Restoring past broken relationship is also a form of charity. Advocacy and justice is also a way of expressing charity. Standing up for the weak, standing up for the oppressed, speaking for the voiceless is also a form of charity. Spiritual investment also is a form of charity. Praying for others, guiding them, helping to lift up their faith is also a form of charity. Now, as clearly outlined by Apostle Peter, charity is superior to brotherly kindness, because if you look at that addendum, charity was the last that was mentioned, the crown of it all. Why is this so? Why brotherly kindness is love expressed within relationship, family, friends, neighbors, associates. Charity is love expressed beyond boundaries to all, strangers, and even enemies. So, brotherly kindness is love within your circle. Charity is love expressed beyond your circle. Charity is universal because it flows from God. It flows from the nature of God, not because of human connection. And the Lord Jesus Christ demonstrated the highest form of charity by giving his life for mankind, for all. As many as received him, to them gave a power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. John chapter 1, verse 12. Mother Teresa dedicated her life to caring for the poor and the vulnerable. Her actions restored dignity to the neglected, inspired global compassion, and made her a symbol of humanitarian service. When charity is present, everyone thrives at their own pace. But when it is absent, the center will no longer hold. It is important that I say this, that like every good thing that can be abused, charity can also be abused. And when this is done, it defeats its intent and the overall impact it could have. So the question is, how can charity be abused? Or how can you prevent charity from being abused? The first way you can prevent charity from being abused is to combine charity with wisdom. How can you do this? Give with discernment, not blindly. Yes, Jesus came to die for the world. Nonetheless, it is those who receive him and remain connected to him that becomes empowered to become the sons of God. The second way that charity can be prevented from being abused is to support people to grow, not to become dependent. Yes, you are provided for them, but they should not remain perpetually dependent on you, because charity should not destroy your own stability. You should not, because you are providing charity, now become unstable and lose your own essence. The third way by which charity can be prevented from being abused is to ensure accountability. Ensure accountability. Track how resources are being used. Don't go to sleep after empowering people. They have been empowered. They need to show proof of their industry. They need to show proof of what they've done. In the parable of the talent, the one who got 5 talents showed proof. He showed workings by getting 5 additional talents. The fourth way by which charity can be prevented from being abused is to maintain right motives. And what does it mean to maintain right motives? Give out of love, not out of pride or pressure. If your love only reaches those around you, you're operating in brotherly kindness. But when your love reaches those who don't deserve it, then you have stepped up into charity. So today I encourage you to intentionally show selfless love to someone within your circle. Take it further and show selfless love to someone beyond your circle and make your life a living expression of God's heart. How strong your faith will be is dependent on the addendums that you've added to it. I trust that you have been blessed and I encourage you to listen again and again. Go over to my YouTube channel, check the part one, listen, and share with someone who needs to hear this. God bless you and thank you so much for your time.